let me say welcome to those who are listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Those of you also viewing GBN TV, good morning to you. What about those of you via social media platforms? Good morning. How is everybody doing? It's Friday, the 14th day of June, 2024. Welcome to The Point. Here, I'm your host, GT, and I'll be with you until it's 10 a.m. this morning. And we're getting, of course, to start off an open line, of course, edition this morning here. And you're welcome for those of you who want to chime in this morning. Lots been happening this week. It's been a pretty interesting week in Grenada. I'm not going to entice you with any particular subject matter this morning. I'm going to leave that up to you, listeners and viewers, to, of course, call in, share your views, share your concerns, issues that you may like to, of course, speak of this morning. Feel free to do so on the open line this morning, 4352041. I know there's still lots of folks who of course, want to talk about lots of stuff, and the opportunities awarded to you this morning. Double the options of calling in. Usually you have the WhatsApp. That's up and running this morning, 4352041. You can also call me directly, 4352041. Let's get the ball rolling of this morning, the open line edition of To The Point. Let's go to the phone line and entertain our very first caller. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, GT, and how are you?
I am doing well, sir. Pretty well this morning. Feeling, I wouldn't say 100%, but I'm good.
I appreciate that, because there is always room for improvement.
So true.
It depends entirely on the individual, how they see things based on the vision or the consciousness, and how they apply themselves subsequently. Then your result would be amazing.
And I agree with you that 100%. 100%, man. Go right ahead.
Now, to this end, some things that might that might look simple, and sometimes we don't pay much attention to. But it is very crucial, because I learned that being around the military. I'm not saying I'm a military person, but being around the military, so that has to do with discipline. Anyway, it says you must be aware of your environment. You must always have a command of your surrounding, and also how you apply yourself in the execution of your duty. Now, there is an underpinning factor. The factor is whether you do it on a selfish individual basis, which will drive you, or you take a corporate moral obligation in doing what you have to do in that environment or that situation. So the bottom line here is, I'm asking this question. As a Grenadian, which I am one, my name is Stringberry, any berry up in the mountain anyway, do we really know the land that we live on? Do we know and understand some of the strengths and weaknesses? And what can we do as individuals in our daily living to ensure that our action has positive impact generally on the population and the land that we live in? And tomorrow will be a better day, and the country will be a beautiful one. Because things like gun violence, that is something that does spring up overnight. Pre-larceny is a serious disease that is destroying us underneath, or a silent disease. It's worse than diabetic and hypertension. Trust me. Because it creates an insecurity that you labor into that you're not sure you're getting it tomorrow. That is a sad situation, GT. But to everything, there's an antidote, We could find it. I have that confidence we could find it. Are you there with me?
Yes, I'm listening. And of course, a vast amount of other listeners and viewers are absorbing all what you're saying this morning. Go right ahead.
Yes, so, I think the time has come when we must look at ourselves, look at the land that we live on, look at our action, and most of all, we're not in a vacuum. For example, me or you or anyone else out there is not the only two nostril or nose hole, local slang that is there. There is others. So you have to be mindful that we're in a universal situation. So we must be cognizant of our neighbors, be that the village where you live, the community where you live, the nation where you live, the region, and the globe as a whole. Have a great one. God bless you, sir.
Blessings goes out to you also, sir, and thank you so much for that and way of getting the program rolling off this morning. Pretty inspiring in terms of your contribution. Let's go to the WhatsApp and say good morning to this caller. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning, sir.
Morning, GT, and morning to your listeners and your viewers. And I will follow on your last caller and your first caller, who I think has set the tone for maybe a meaningful conversation. One of the things that I've used today so far to inspire me is a quote by Maya Angelou, who said, "Be a rainbow, or be the rainbow in someone else's cloud." And I think this individual who just spoke up attempted to do that, because he raised the issue like whether we question ourselves and question about our environment and about where we live, how we know, if we know who we are. I mean, basically, if we know who we are, because if you don't know the environment you live in, then you don't know who you are. You know, GT, I think for some reason we are ashamed of our I would say evolution, in the sense that at one stage our genes was enslaved, and it's still enslaved in different ways. And we don't want to look deep enough to see that, so that we can make changes. So then we stay on the outside and we back and attempt to bite, even though we can't bite, but we back. But the thing about it that, and I'm talking in relation to healing our trauma. We are traumatized people not because we have had revolution and we have had hurricane and so on, and we have had bad governance over the last since 1984. But essentially, we've been miseducated. Johnson Washington says that if you don't listen to the news, then you're ill-informed. And he said if you listen to the news, you're misinformed. So you have to navigate between these two extremes. How do you able to function in an environment or in a world that demands of you your own contribution to its continuing evolution? And I think one of the things I heard this morning on the earlier program was that in a conversation between your colleague and Pastor Simon, is that especially in relation to men, we don't have conversation. But I think even the individual was saying that kills conversation too, because sometimes if something is brought up, but because if it's not, the individuals are not aware of it, they shoot it down. So some of the conversation we need to have, which is painful and that's part of the healing, we don't want to have it. Like, for instance, we've been the victim of a psychological warfare operation that was unleashed in Grenada in 83. And people don't want to understand that. And a lot of the issues that we are facing because of that. You look at other places, whether it's Chile, whether it's Guatemala, whether Dominican Republic, Haiti, wherever the U.S. have been, Iraq in recent times, Libya, you see the disorder. And although we have had not major violent situation, we have had situations that where people are engaged in some form of, well, I don't want to use the word that the former Senator Humphrey said the other day on a program about civil war, but we are not cooperative. We are very competitive, very aggressive with each other, and this is something we need to address. If we have to really face the challenges that is confronting us or impending, we must do it collectively. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble. It is a fact that we can do so little, but together we can do so much. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. And as always, have a great weekend. If we don't get to speak again. Have yourself a good one. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings.
Good morning to you, sir.
Mr. Telesford, I'm extremely enthused with the inputs of the two previous callers. Identifying some of the problems that the country faces. Mr. Telesford, I share their views, but I wish to let them know that there is a way we can resolve the problems of the country, at least make a decision collectively, which was one of the terms used, amongst us in debate and conversation, exchange of ideas, appraisals of all the situations so that we can make a decision into the future. And that is done by, quote-unquote, a constituent assembly. That, I suggest to you, brothers, I share your views, and I wish you would study the theory of the Constituent Assembly, and the next time you come back on the air, make reference to it as the only democratic means of charting the course of a country into the future with the involvement of its people. In other words, and they do like to hear that word, democratically. Where the people of the country decide their future, and where the sovereign and constituent, and I stress on the word sovereign and constituent power of the country resides non-transferably, and I underline that word again, in the people. Very powerful interventions by the brother. Study the Constituent Assembly, and let's get in line so that we encourage the people to understand that they have to demand a new direction for the country. Under the current colonial political and constitutional architecture, this country goes nowhere. We've been just spinning top in mud every time some other people change. They continue to do the same thing or even worse. And the country is stuck. Thank you very much, brothers. Let's do this thing correctly. Quickly, Mr. Telesford, two little things. The first, I must indeed say I feel extremely pleased to hearing that news item last night relative to the establishment of a group of contractors to repair the schools of our country in a timely basis, because we really have a messy situation over the years. Schools are expected to open in September and so on, and they can't because this had to be done. I'm happy there's a proposal that was made by many people in this here country prior, and I'm happy that at least this administration has taken some steps towards correcting that. Finally, Mr. Telesford, last Friday, 1 week ago, the issue that I have often raised relative to the constitutional architecture of the country, of what was established and what we're suffering today, referring specifically to a document published in 2022 with a commission set up by the state of Grenada to review the Constitution of Grenada. Pages 5 and 6 of this document, I also drew reference to last week, explained crystally clearly that Grenada had never been a politically independent and sovereign nation. But there was a particular caller, who from time to time, very reputable, makes some very interesting points in Grenada. But there was this issue that he raised, and he threw out a question which I think is rhetorical. Because if he so desires, he can find the answer in the pages 5 and 6 of that said document. And listen to his rhetorical question. Can anybody in this here country challenge anybody in this here country to tell him, quote unquote, what would have been different had the formalities of the proper constitutional aspects have been put into place? In other words, he's admitting, when he says what would have happened, that nothing really happened. But I wish to inform him and the people of this here country of the following. Within that document 5 and 6, it answers the question. If he and others were to read that document, it states, because that's precisely what the commission sought to do in this advisory document. But here are three things just to end so I don't take much time. Had we done everything the correct way relative to the political independence of this country, and all the formalities have been taken into consideration and fulfilled, one, we would have had, and when we say would have had, it tells you that we didn't have it. For those who had the would have syndrome, we would have had a Constitution Act. We do not have that. That's the first We do not have that. A constitution, a country running without a constitutional act, which in effect is the principal law, the sovereign law, the framework law, the basic law, the supreme law of the country, is not a law in our country, yet it makes laws which we are obligated to obey. The second thing we would have had was an independence act. We do not have that. Then how can we be independent? The third thing we would have had is true and democratic political and sovereign independence, which we do not have. So you see, in the document, if the brother and others were to study, they would see the answer. So the question, I will destroy it from being rhetorical and say it has its answers, so in fact it isn't. I trust that my expressions this morning were clear. Let us do what we have to do. A constituent assembly to review the status of the nation, to correct the ills of the past, so that the people as a people collectively can decide the future of Grenada. Down with colonialism, its vestiges and its towers thereof. Have a nice day, will you, Mr. Telesford?
Have a blessed morning, sir. All the best. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome. Let's hear from you. Good morning to you.
Good to you, Mr. Telesford. Mr. Telesford, from the village I grew up in, around planting time, the people used to, I'm from Monmouth, St. David, everybody used to tie the animal, put the fowls in coop. So when the people plant their little corn and peas, the animals do eat them. Now, I do not know what went on in other villages. I knew that was a practice in my village in the 60s and the 70s. That's when I grew up. Okay, sir. I have been hearing a lady calling at another radio station a few times, and I could call her name, Miss Kami. I fill it for that lady, complaining that she planted her little things, with her peas, whatever she planted, and this person, animals, are eating her things. I mean, this lady is crying out. She's even making threats what she would do, and she's restraining herself. But I'm wondering how many other people are going through this around the island. I mean, where's the compassion? Where's the considerateness? Where's the love we have had in us over the years, Mr. Telesford? Why should that poor lady? That lady is not well. She goes down to town every single day to ply her trade. She helps a lot of people. Probably she's a single mother. I do not know the lady's business. She's a senior citizen. And every morning she has to be calling out on the radio station. Who is considering that what is happening to that lady mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically? Suppose she do something terrible. I pray God she doesn't, but I think a lot of people are going through this at this point in time. And before, people used to plant their corn and peas for themselves, but you have to pay labor, and labor is expensive. Why on earth people have to be going through this? I wish somebody could reach out to that lady to help her to solve that problem, and other people like herself who are going through the same trauma. Thank you for the time, Mr. Telesford.
Appreciate your contribution this morning, caller. Best wishes goes out to you also. Let's take another caller within this segment before we take a break. And let's say good morning. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, GT. How are you?
I am doing 100%. Well, I shouldn't say 100%. I'm mixing up my feelings this morning. I'm bordering 100% this morning. Close, but bordering. How are you, Bill? How are you? I may ask.
I'm blessed.
All right. Great to hear from you.
I just want to put me a little to pins this morning. I want to call him Mr. Tobias Clement, a man like him. I was expecting him to address a woman in a highly manner, but he addressed the Attorney General very low. He was low blow. Because he act like if she responsible for he locking down himself in Parliament with a chain. The way how he come out, when he addressing the cell phone thing. And I also want the governor, the Attorney General, to listen to the opposition leader when he talk about there are more culprits with the cell phone thing. Sometimes the Treasury might be able to get some more money that Grenada need very, very badly now. Because he, although he talking on the both side of his mouth, he blaming the thing and then he praising it. So I don't know how to come with him, say, because he mentioned that he has many more culprits in this problem with this cell thing, you know. But we must not show down right and high up wrong when something is wrong. Although he pointed out this is wickedness to have people to use the taxpayers' money. That we agree with him with that. And the other hand now, he double crossing, you know, he talking like any both side of the mouth, so I don't know where he coming up. But I just want to say this morning, when wrong is wrong, and I would like the people who abuse the taxpayers' money in that way to pay back the church. All right, my brother.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution also. Folks, we drew for a break. We're coming right back. It's an open line edition of To The Point this morning. You have double option of calling in, 435-2041 via the WhatsApp, or you can call me directly, 435-2041. We will be right back after the break.
Many of us take our health and well-being seriously. We exercise, we eat right, we try hard. Sometimes we give up. But we can't give up on the health of land and the seas that sustain us. We must reduce the amount of plastic weight we generate individually. A person can generate up to 70 times their weight in waste. That's over 10,000 pounds of plastic over a lifetime. Now multiply that by the country's population. Without reuse, repurposing, or recycling, each OACS island will generate more than 1 billion pounds of plastic waste over a lifetime. This can't be our legacy. Separate plastic waste for transport to a facility that reuses, repurposes, or recycles.
Recycle OECS. Green actions, blue oceans.
It's the event you won't want to miss. GIDC Business Deals Day on Saturday, July 13th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Frequente Industrial Park playing field. Explore the latest products and service offerings from businesses within the industrial parks. Enjoy discounts on GIDC business support services and get fantastic deals on household items, building materials, accessories, condiments, and more with exciting prizes up for grabs throughout the day. But that's not all. Dive into a mini health fair and career expo for valuable health education and employment opportunities. It will be a fun-filled day with eats, drinks, games, deals, and more. Mark your calendars and join the GIDC at Frequente Industrial Park Plainfield on Saturday, July 13th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. See you there.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Good morning to those of you via social media platforms. Once again, good morning, Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's an open line edition this morning. Let's take a caller. Caller, good morning. You welcome. How are you this morning? Caller via. Good morning.
Thank you very much for taking my call. First of all, let me acknowledge the callers that had already called, in particular Mr. Rolo. And I would like to remind the entire country that during the revolution, and I did make mention of this constitution and whatnot to the beloved, well, I should say probably Prime Minister of the revolution. Well, I was imprisoned and I suffered torture and beaten and poisoned and whatnot, etc. Thank God I'm alive still. I want to also point out that, the lady who spoke about the animals, you know, I am a 1-foot farmer. I still consider myself as a farmer because I'm flat on my bottom, cutlassing, cleaning, planting, and whatnot, etc. And for the entire duration of this year and parts of last year, well, as a matter of fact, sometime in 2009, and when these hybrid goats was brought to Grenada, I did have a problem. And my God, I tell you, my entire cocoa field and And when the guy came and examined and whatnot, over $12,000 worth of damage. One cocoa tree was valued at $250, and that's to tell you what I'm suffering for years in my life. I don't know. I hope that someone would actually take heed and pay much attention and assist farmers, because one-foot farmer is here today suffering without any assistance from the government. Even the road now to go to my land is in...
Guess we may have lost you there, caller, for some reason. You're there still, caller? Good morning. Guess we may have lost the caller. Not sure what's the problem on his side. Let's go to the WhatsApp. WhatsApp, good morning. You're welcome. WhatsApp caller.
Hey, GT, good morning.
Good morning to you, brother. How are you this morning?
Happy Friday, my brother.
And the same goes out to you.
All right. Okay. Okay. I want to speak about something I listened last night. Last night I listened to Dr. Mitchell in an interview with Sheldon Scott. All right. And then it's very ironic to hear Dr. Mitchell, as the lady said before, Dr. Mitchell is two-tongued, which is true. And Grenadians should never ever elect this man in ever office again, because I listened to the interview and he bring up the Janty case, and Dr. Mitchell want to accuse the administration of something to do with the Janty debt. You understand? It's a talking point. You yourself could go back there and listen to it. And I think Dr. Mitchell, as a past prime minister who ruled Grenada for 23 years, Grenada didn't get nothing from him, but put Grenada in debt for $400 million. You understand? And for Dr. Mitchell could come and accusing this administration of having something to do with Janty debt and saying now they need to come and tell people the truth. You understand? I think that was very irresponsible of Dr. Mitchell. You know, and I also think that Dr. Mitchell, if he knows something, maybe he should go to the commissioner of police and plead the cause. You understand? But coming and making statements, so Dr. Mitchell want to see trouble in Grenada. In my opinion, I think what Dr. Mitchell is doing is trying to stir up some kind of chaos in Grenada, and I think he's wrong, and he need to apologize for this thing on him. Dr. Mitchell know exactly what he's doing. And in my point, I think what the cause Blaze put in on Dr. Mitchell, we see it really come to fruition. GT, you have a great weekend.
Have a good day yourself, caller. Good morning. 435-2041, 435-2041. That's the number if you want to be part after the point. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, GT, and how you do? Hello? GT, good morning.
Good morning to you, and how are you doing this morning?
I'm very well, thanks. Dennis, I want to say congratulations to the new administration. Well, not so new again, it's going on 2 years. I want to 2 points. I want to congratulate them and give them high praise on education. And I want to tell the young people of Grenada, take advantage, abuse the situation and go to school and learn. Don't allow these opportunities to pass by, because you see what's going. And the other thing I want to say, the water problem that is facing Grenada is because of the former administration, the NNP. They did not prepare us for dry season and time like this, like storage. No, I'm saying congratulations and a special thanks to Nawasa. So I saw them on the road delivering water. Are you there, JT?
Yes, I am here with you. Right. Go right ahead. Make your contribution.
Yes, and I saw them distributing water and so on to different houses in the rural areas. And that was a very good thing, and I'm happy and I congratulate them for that. But I want to send out a clear message to this administration that please do not allow us to fall in that category if we go through a terrible dry season next year and going forward, because they should learn from this one and prepare storage so that we will go to that again. And to close my point, the NNP done. They ain't coming back. Dr. Mitchell know exactly what he did. He know all his do's and don'ts. And he done. He don't coming back, so he's trying to make confusion. To the Honorable Prime Minister we have today, you're an honorable man. Keep it up. And we're praying for you. We're standing in the gap. And Dr. Mitchell can get his way. In Jesus' name. Goodbye, Mr. Dick.
Good morning to you once again, and goodbye. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, Mr. Telesford, I just want to make a reference with some points of the Agriculture Minister and your program on Wednesday highlight, and I think it's very important. The population of Grenada is 107,000. Isn't that what was mentioned?
I think he mentioned, is it 106,000?
Well, 6 or 7. It demonstrates to me, if based on what he's saying, and I believe it is accurate, we have a dwindling population in Grenada, because some years ago we were in the 110, 120. We reached to 106, 107. Now, is there a great migration of people from Grenada? Are people attaining higher level of education through university, so there is a less tendency for we to have an increase in the population because people are studying more to attain higher education, which is good. Throughout the world, you hear many countries crying out about population. But what is important, as is stressed, the unemployment has dropped to 11% or somewhere around there. And I always say that sometimes we hear people saying, you can get job in Grenada, unemployment high and different things. Now, if the unemployment rate is dropping and we have a meager population and you have things to be done, it tells me that very soon we may have a shortage of labor and you may have to import people. Now, I don't against the Chinese when they come and do work, but what I notice the Chinese, when they give you a project, they come in with all the people and only men. I am saying two things. It was very important that the government move the aspect of the Education Act and an emphasis in skill training. So it will demonstrate to us that even though we have a dwindling population, with skills and technology, we can solve a lot of problems in the island without having to input people to do some of those projects that we have. Another thing I think what is important, I believe government need to decentralize a lot of things, and local government need to be promoted and pushed. Every parish should have mayor, city council, if you want to say town council, as such. So minor things that could be done in the city and the town, you don't have to go to the ministry and wait on them. The mayor and the city council can deal with those things. And I would really like to see this administration drive towards encouraging local government. And I don't want to go so far, but if possible, the revenue that collect in a particular parish, some of it, you have what you may say goes to, if you want to say, the federal government, that big project, a major project, you know these revenue go. But little taxes can be implemented on a parish basis, and the parish can take care of certain basic things through its local revenue office. But in order for those things to be done, local government and city councils and mayor, if we could go into that and sort of ease up, decentralize all these things government have to do, because I heard the minister on Wednesday say so much little things he have to do, and people are like a hole in the area where he's staying in the road, a little this, a little that. If you have city council and mayor, that will ease up some of the work the ministers have to do, and then city council take care of many things. So I like to emphasize two things. The population, the Education Act is very good, develop people's skill, and let's look at local government in every parish. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Very positive contribution there from you, caller. Appreciate it a whole lot. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, welcome. Good morning.
Mr. GT, good morning, and how are you?
Doing very well. Caller, good morning to you.
Right. Mr. GT, we always know the saying, who have glass house don't throw stone. And you hear your mother say that? So we should be careful what we're talking about. The past Prime Minister, leader of the opposition, keep ponging on the jaunty business. But he have a skeleton in the closet too, you know. Let us remind him of the old drill yard, and he will know what people know. Anyway, Tobias Clement is a wicked and evil man, because during his reign in the NNP, he knew what was going on, because his administration was paying the bill for Sheldon Scott. So instead of he coming and run his mouth and talk about who is Claudette Joseph. Claudette Joseph is a lady compared to a lot. So I find he's losing respect for women, and he has no right to ask who is Claudette Joseph. She is our Attorney General, and she's a lady. Tobias Clement, he forget what he did during the election with Mr. Buck. He got people to go and take photo of people's house in Lansapine and throw it all about in the Northeast, saying Mr. Buck have house with 5 and 6 swimming pool. So Tobias Clement have no respect for himself, and if he trying to get back in NNP, he could do it, but don't use people and lambast others just to get back walking, because that is his administration that condemn wrong and evil. Mr. Telesford, have a good weekend and take care.
Have a good day yourself, caller. Best wishes goes out to you. Folks, we drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we entertain more of your calls. Stay with us. It's To The Point, the open line edition for today, Friday. We'll be right back.
This moment is all that I've been dreaming of. Well, focus.
Cricket, lovely cricket, as we bring you ball by ball commentaries of the T20 World Cup. The Cut and Drive Network, in association with this radio station, are pleased to be a part of the excitement. Join me, Andrew Mason, as I lead a team of top-class cricket commentators right through to the finals on June the 29th at the historic Kensington Oval. Cricket, lovely cricket, on this radio station. You got a date, so don't be late.
This moment is all that I've been dreaming of. Well, focus.
You see, mention the wing high, then you have things like man, you must come back, you know. We have the low power there.
When you push your jump, it is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake, I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page, and YouTube channel for We Culture.
Solve your conflict in a different way. Choose peace and love instead of all bloodshed. Live and long live and you see the violence thing.
Make the change. Make the change.
Make the change.
Make the change.
Make the change.
Make a change.
Make the change.
Make the change.
End the gun violence now.
Just please give life a chance. Let's stop the violence. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for Grenada to laugh again. Heritage Theatre presents Spice Laugh Comedy Bash 2024, Saturday, June 22nd and Sunday, 23rd June at the Trade Center in Grandance, and on Sunday, 30th June at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville. Showtime, 7 p.m. every time, featuring some of Grenada's best ambassadors of comedy. Robert White.
I'll line up behind the yellow for 9 elections straight. I change color in time to lose the last election. Why? Because I'm always on the losing side.
Dillion Walters.
It's the McQueen I couldn't take. I don't tell Molly didn't know.
Kareem Alexis and other outstanding comedic performances, all coming to knock you off your seats with laughter. Get your tickets now. Bring out the entire family. Tickets are $60. It's time for Spice Laugh Comedy Bash 2024.
The place go flood with laughter.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Those of you via our social media platforms, good morning to you once again, and thanks for being with us on To The Point this morning. Let's go back to the phone line. It's an open line edition this morning. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Mr. Telesford, let me compliment you as to the way you handle your program. To me, you do not take or say anything as commenting on the people's opinion. And based on that, I said opinion are not facts. So you could give your idea, but you hardly give it. And I look at you as a good moderator. Some others put forth, I wouldn't call it a point, but put forth things that they have no experience in. In fact, a lot of us are saying that the education system is good. It's a rise to a certain degree. Some are saying it's not good. Some are saying that this man is good. He's not good. That's their opinion. For you to say something is good or bad, maybe you have to carry out research. Maybe a census, if you want to say there is growth in the population, there is growth in the economy. And these things are not happening too regularly. So for you to comment on those, when I say you, for one to comment on those things, they have to carry out a research or researches. I can't tell you, we are living to some extent. The houses might be looking nicer, but that do not say that we are living more comfortable and people are much happier. Because even now, we have people that are being distressed by other people. People have been killed by other people, and some people are getting away. Some people are criticizing others, and they have no evidence to criticize them. I imagine somebody would criticize me now when I finish speak. Because some of them cannot understand. They're talking about the education system has been lifted. Some say it has gone down. I don't know how they know that. Once you carry out the research and you could say perhaps how much in every 1,000, how much in every 100, reach a certain status or a certain calling, then you could say those things. Even when I look at I could say we're reasonably educated, but we are not fully educated. It depends on what we mean by education. And I've always said education means fit to live and fit to live with. You're supposed to analyze what somebody said, or probably system, before you jump to the conclusion, this man is educated, this man is not educated, or this woman is educated, or she's a this or she's a that. Some of us who trying to evaluate people, we don't have the knowledge and the skill and the experience to do it. Anyhow, I have much more to say. But if I continue saying, a lot of people would say that I feel educated and they would get to hate me. A lot of things are happening in this country and other parts of the world, which a lot of us wouldn't accept if we live in a real good society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Have yourself a great day. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning and welcome. The Open Line edition this morning. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you again, GT. I just want to add.
I beg of you to be brief, please.
Conversation, and I want to endorse what the last caller said in relation to you, how you conduct the program. And I told you that before, many months ago, how you do it in relation to other people. You don't judge people's stuff. You ask questions and so on. And that's the best way. Now, in terms of accountability, yes, we should hold government accountable. But it's ironic that some people who was honored, who did not believe in accountability, and when they were caught with their hands in the cookie jar, they made all kind of charade, like for instance, that Shelton on Commission of Inquiry, which proved nothing. And the truth really was suppressed. Anyway, that's one. So even when we talk about accountability in relation to cricket 2007, up to now, we haven't got a proper report on this whole thing. Up to now, up to the day, there are many other stuff. So for me, when certain people say, how much the celebrations thing costs and so on, I'm not speaking as a member, a supporter of the ruling party. I mean, people know who I am, so I don't care. I mean, to put blame. I mean, to put responsibility to who is responsible. But I mean, the folks told you they are accountable to Parliament. This thing, the money for their celebration was through Parliament. So that's the best place. I mean, when the period is finished, you ask the people where show us the proof, blah, blah, blah. But not try to blackmail them right now. Now, finally, I think we should call a spade a spade. And we call in previous lesson, we should say thief, stealing, dishonesty. There's so many words we use, so we should do so that when people steal, we expose them. I mean, and we need to remember the words of Bishop Baker, who said years ago after the hurricane that Grenadians are a nation of thieves. People might not like to hear that because he said it at a time responding to how people looted and made things more difficult for us after the hurricane. And then this morning a man talked about there's somebody who somebody wrote, your earlier colleague said somebody selling in the market, somebody with a disability or so selling, he don't know land and so on, but he's selling all the time in the market. And this shows that how we support criminality in this place. Thanks.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much also. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, following up on what that caller just said, we do support criminality, and you must call a spade a spade. And Grenada seem to be a nation of thieves, and we must have accountability for when we do wrong. And in so doing, I was calling about the fact that I saw on the news this week the Sheldon Scott issue resurfaced again, where the Attorney General came forth reminding Sheldon Scott with a letter that he owes $150,000 in phone bills. When you have a government benefit and you abuse it like that, that is a form of thievery. It is stealing, it is dishonest, it is abusing the fact that you have a benefit and overusing it, and that is also a form of theft. And a spade is a spade, let's call it a spade. So if you abuse the authority given to you for a benefit on your job, and you give it away, you make all of these extra phone calls, it means that you have stolen that benefit from the government, $150,000, and you must make arrangements to pay it back. And the boldness of Sheldon Scott to continue, he has a whole program talking every night without any regret, without any explanation, criticizing people, criticizing all the faults of everyone else. But But here you are owing the government of Grenada $150,000 for benefits that you have used and abused. It is thievery. It is a nation of thieves. We need accountability, which means you pay it back. We have not forgotten. And I hope that the Attorney General is not doing this out of spite. I hope that it is being done as a matter of policy, that this is what you do, not just to Sheldon Scott because he's anti-government. This is how we should be over the board. Accountability for thieving, stop thieving, see the thieving in all the different ways that it is disguised. When you have a benefit from the government and you overuse the phone bill, you give it to the relative, you give materials to relative. There are different ways that government employees steal and they are dishonest, not just the Sheldon Scott and the phone call. Everybody who has access to government benefits, who are in charge of things to disseminate, to give out, do not thief, do not give extra to the uncle, do not take home some for you, do not overdo the phone call. Pay it back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much for your contribution this morning. 435-2041. We have approximately 8 minutes left on today's program. Let's go back to the phone line and see who is on. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Morning. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. Let's hear from you.
I bought quite some time now shares in Cable and Wireless in the long time in Keith Mitchell days. Of course, I have a lot of shares in different banks in Grenada. A comment. And I am not getting the amount of dividends that I'm supposed to. As a matter of fact, to tell you the honest truth, JT, probably those banks and them stopped giving dividends because I have not been receiving. And in particular, Cable and Wireless, those shares that I bought some time ago, that time I was working at Barclays Bank. Now I'm a retired banker. I'm relaxing. And no, they have not given a count. They go from Cable and Wireless to Flow. I have not seen any financial statements because I have a little idea. I could read because working in the bank, we used to do financial statements when customers come in. We had to review their accounts, so it's important that we do the financial statements and we analyze it. So I have a little idea of the financial statements, how the company has run, how it worked, what a profit, what is a loss. I have not seen anything of that from Cable and Wireless, and this is a very long time now. It's gone to Flow. I don't know how much is the value of the shares. We have not bring dividends. There's no meeting, shareholders meeting to tell us anything. And I'm calling on Flow, which took over from Cable and Wireless. I don't know how the partner, if it's partnership, if it's joint, if it is, I don't know how the operations, how they work. So I'm calling on Flow, who I assume take over Cable and Wireless, because like I say, I have no documentation to see how the percentage in terms of the share ownership, I don't know, because they have not been accountable to we the shareholders. We have not had a meeting. There's no dividends, and we don't know what's going on with the company. If you think over, well then pay us. We have not received anything. And also to the other banks, because I have not got any money dividends from the ACB Bank, but the Cooperative Bank also, I think they said they might be given. Of course, I got something from First Caribbean because I have shares in most of the banks. But I'm calling on particularly Flow. We need transparency. We need accountability to know what is the makeup of the company, who is what. Give me money for my shares. Have a shareholders meeting, send a financial statement to me so that I'll be able to analyze it to know what's happening to the company. So I'm calling on Flow. It's time that we shareholders get our dividends, and we have to know what is going on with the company, because I invested money when I was working for my old age to be able to mind me and look after me, because I ain't interested in working.
Thank you, caller.
I pass for that. So I'm just calling on Flow to give accountable to us, and we need to know where our dividends and what is going on with the company. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Have yourself a great day. 435-204, an open line edition this morning, and I'm certainly giving everyone a listening ear this morning. I'm sitting back and listening to your, of course, contribution this morning, whether it's an issue, whether it's an opinion you share. I'm certainly allowing you to do that this morning. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning to you, caller. caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It tells me, according to this lady that recently spoke on the air, it tells me to the level of the educational system in Grenada. You in a club, or you all are in a club, you all are responsible for the people giving report or not giving report. So if you are in the bank and you deposit, is not only you alone. That only tells me the level of your intelligence. That's why you cannot, because it's not one man to rule the bank. It's not one man to read the education in Grenada. It's not one man that ruling the whatever it is in Grenada. It's a set of people, and that only tells me the level of the intelligence of the people who are in these associations. So this is what hurts me in Grenada. Not that I'm educated. I'm stupid as stupid. But I have sense to lead me to reach some height. And I hate perhaps now living in Grenada, because a lot of things are happening which should never to happen if the people were so intelligent. They say they have 60 GC, but they cannot use the GC. They say they have what language arts, and yet they do not know how to manipulate the language. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Have yourself a great morning. 4:45, approximately 3 minutes before we take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point for today, Friday, the open line edition this morning. Still can accommodate a caller or two if they come in just before we decide to take a wrap for today's program. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're so welcome. Good morning.
Morning. Happy Father's Day to you, Mr. T, and the government, all the government fathers. I'd like to talk to the nation and all the families at the next City Hall, bring it to the attention that the universal health and medicine need to be brought to the front. How soon can we get that? And there's something in the world called universal basic income. They need to check into that and bring that up to the fore at the City Hall's meetings about the universal health medicine. Please, it's long overdue. Mr. Roberts was pushing that. I haven't heard from him recently. So we need to bring that up when they go to the meeting. So it'll be good for the poor and vulnerable. Have a blessed weekend.
Have yourself a great weekend also, caller. Still have 2 minutes before we take a wrap for today. Let me see if I can hit some of the comments this morning, see who, of course, is contributing. Let's go to the WhatsApp this morning. Let's take this contribution before we entertain another caller. And I'm trying to get the gist of the comment here. All the funds needed to fix the holes in the road would now be going to pay the salaries of the mayor and council staff. These city councils are not needed in a small Grenada duplication of service. And I guess that is that contribution is referring to one of the callers who called in and mentioned that we probably should have, the city council, parish councils or so forth, and mayors running the various parishes. I guess that contribution is referencing to that. And folks, it's straight up 10 a.m. That's where we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point. I want to thank all who called in this morning and shared their views, their concerns this morning. I appreciate it a whole lot. And pretty interesting week we have had for the program for the week thus far, and best wishes for the weekend to come. That's where I say goodbye, and best wishes once again. Have a good weekend to one and all.